This is the regular meeting of the City of Murfreesboro Historic Zoning Commission. Ms. Davis, call the roll.
We don't need to.
No,
We have quorum.
no, okay. No need to call the roll. Do we have a quorum?
Yes.
It appears that we do. And let's take a look at the minutes for the last regular meeting, which was held January 21st, 2014. Are there any comments or corrections, additions to the minutes?
I move the minutes be approved as presented.
We have a motion to approve and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. The minutes are approved. And I believe before we go to new business, you have a
Yes, Chairman. I do.
question, Rick?
Mr. Ives,
Yes.
as a member of the church that's on the agenda today, St. Paul's Church, does that preclude me from discussing and/or voting on any motions for this project?
Since we have plenty of people here to have a quorum without you, I would recommend that you not participate in the discussion or vote on the project.
I'm a member too.
So there are two members of the church in the group. We have 7 of us here.
We've still got 5.
And a quorum is 5, so we're okay if you,
Yes.
they can comment but not vote, or should abstain from
I
voting.
think the best course would be to not participate in the discussion. That's less critical than I think it would be for sure that as members of the organization they should not vote on the matter before the commission, and I would recommend that there not be discussion either.
Okay. New business is before us. It's 315 Main Street. That's East Main Street, I believe, right? St. Paul's Episcopal Church is requesting to demolish a portion of the church structure and rebuild a new 3,790 square foot building in its place. Would the architect or representative from the church like to make a presentation?
I'm the civil engineer, Matt Taylor of SCC here in town. I'm accompanied by Jim Lowen, the architect. He's on your far right. And then also got a couple other members from the church, Mr. Rodney George, and there you go. I'm not even going to pretend to do that.
Could you repeat that?
So the church is looking to demolish their existing, I guess you call it fellowship hall, and then construct a little bit larger footprint and make it 2 stories and have the architecture more in compliance and agreement with the existing structure. You should have a architectural rendering as well as some flat 2D elevations of each side of the building there. I believe that those will be a nice complement to the existing facility as well as the surrounding community, much more so than what's there now. And actually going to create a little bit of a formal plaza area in between the couple of wings in the rear of the building there. So the only thing I would note is it's a 13,790 square foot footprint or building instead of a 3,000. Just one little typo there. Other than that, we'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have about the building or the site itself.
That's a 2-story building, did you say?
Yes, sir.
So the 13,000 is divided between
Yeah, essentially it's almost a 7,000 square foot footprint.
Okay. Any comments by any members or questions by members of the board?
Yes, Vice Chairman Backlund, I'd like to just go ahead and present, if we could show the monitor. I'll just give you a couple for people in the audience that really don't have access to this. What I'm showing here is the front of the building that's fronting on East Main Street. This is a view of the church on the east side between JR's Foodland and the church. This is a view from Academy Street. You can see that the church in the background. This is a smaller building where my cursor is. This is the west side of the church as you're looking at the church property from Academy Street.
That small building is the building to be demolished, is that correct?
No.
No?
No, this is not. This is, we'll get there in just a second. Right here, this gray building, this lower building here on this side of the church property, this is the north side. You can see the front of the church property is here with the steep angles and the larger building. This is the part that's going to be demolished. The next view is another actually shot of the building that's going to be demolished, and it shows the two-story house on East College Street where the demolition is going to take place here and come out just a little bit toward these parking lot signs where the handicap parking is. It'll come out this way. And I'm going to skip over these drawings and go down to the rendering that we have. This is This is actually the drawing from the west, I think the west side with the courtyard here, and this is the north side if you're looking at it with the little smaller building attachment here. And this is a rendering of what it's going to look like, and this would be a view from probably from Academy Street. You'd be looking at it. This is the existing church right here, and this would be the new construction with this little small entrance in here. I just want to let you have some idea of what it's going to be looking like. The Board of Zoning Appeals granted a variance. Not a variance, but a special use permit at the last meeting. And one of the conditions that the board had, I got it in your agenda package, was they were going to have they're requiring some landscaping in between the new construction and that residential house that's on College Street to provide a buffer between the church and that house. The Planning Commission also has approved the site plan, and that being said, the next step is for the Historic Commission to consider this application. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer, and Matt Taylor in the audience will be able to answer them also.
Any questions, anyone?
How does this height compare to what's already there?
It'd be very comparable to the other pictures. I think the roof lines will be basically maintained. So the roof lines from what Robert showed you, those will be extended just straight to the north.
Mr. Chair, it appears on drawing A4.1 that the new roof ridge is 39 feet, and it appears that the new sanctuary is a couple of feet short of that. I'm going to guess 37 feet or something like that. I had wondered that same question, but I saw it just a moment ago on the drawing. It appears to be just a couple of feet higher.
Any other comments?
Mr. Chair, we just want to acknowledge that the building that you're tearing down was the old parish hall, and it appears to have been built in 1949, so it's more than 50 years of age, and therefore on its own it's eligible for the National Register, so I don't want to let that pass us by, that it is considered eligible for the register. So it is an older building that we'll be losing. Now, I don't always, as a preservationist, think just because it's old it needs to be kept, but it is a utilitarian structure when it was built. It is not as significant architecturally as the original sanctuary or even the newer one that has been built, but it is eligible for the register, so I wanted to at least note that. I guess for me, I don't have any real concerns for it as an architect because it sits back into the core of the block that it entails. Probably the only thing from it, and it's probably a personal aesthetic, when you look at the front of the new sanctuary or the old sanctuary, it has a sort of Romanesque revival feel to it, which is a fairly common style of architecture for churches. But then when I look at the new entrance to the building on drawing A3.1, at the main entrance there's two pair of doors, and there appears to be two slender columns, one on either side with a trefoil precast panel, I guess, bracket that supports the tympanum of the gable there, and the columns appear to be too skinny in my opinion. They don't appear to have sort of the gutsiness that a Romanesque revival design would entail, and I would recommend that they be beefed up a bit. And that's the only comment I had.
The building to be torn down, one question I have is it's visible only from College Street, I believe. Is that correct? It's not visible from Main Street or really from Academy?
There's pieces through from Academy.
Just a
that you
glimpse
can
of it
see.
through from Academy, I think.
Yeah, through some of the building, some of the existing buildings, but mainly from just Academy, yes. And you could see it from Main Street, I believe, if you're approaching from the east and you're looking toward the northwest.
You would also be able to see it from College Street.
Right. Right. Correct.
Primarily from College Street.
Mainly from College across that
Yeah.
parking lot. So, do you have any thoughts about Jim's comments?
I'll let the
Well, to clarify, the entrance that I'm talking about faces North Academy, which would be blocked by the structures that remain.
Well, I
Your
did
name
listen.
and,
Jim Lowen, principal of Lowen Associates.
Okay.
And I did hear your comments about the columns, and you're speaking of just at that entry from the courtyard side.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Which would be largely blocked by the buildings there, but being that it's two-story there instead of the lower structure, which is a one-story, I would call it, looks like a former medical clinic, the building with the glass
Right.
block. It would stick above that, and so that's why I was responding that I thought the columns appeared to be a little narrow. And if you look at the new front entrance on the new sanctuary, it has some punched openings there, but a much higher arch. There's a more gutsy appearance to the columns that separate that. And I just felt like that basically this photograph here, those columns appear to be a little bigger, though lower. I just think it's losing some of the nature of the Romanesque revival when they get that skinny is all. I see why you did it. You lined it up with the pairs of doors, and you had a punched opening that was replicated several times, but
Correct.
it just appears to me to be a little skinny for that style.
We are trying to match basically the aesthetic, so we'll definitely take a look at that.
And I think you've done a very nice job.
Any other thoughts, comments? Do we have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve, second?
Second.
And a second. All in favor? And the motion is to approve as drawn, or? So we have a motion to approve as drawn. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion carries.
Abstain. I had to abstain.
And the motion carries, so the project is approved.
Thank you very much.
Do we have any staff reports or other business? Any?
I don't have any.
None? Brendan?
Nothing here.
Okay. Motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Second? All right. All in favor? That was a pretty short meeting.
They're all waiting.